Your life, your beautiful, precious life is an offering. It's an offering for the evolution of this world. It's an offering for the healing of your lineage. And you are already helping this world just by being yourself. Hello and welcome back to Remember Why You're Here, a podcast for seekers and sensitives where you can relax, receive, reconnect to yourself, and remember the most important thing of all, why you're here. I'm Asia Suler, author, earth intuitive, herbalist, and teacher. And in this episode today, we're going to talk about how plant healing is ancestral healing, how the two work together to support one another, but also how through just working with the plants, we are naturally undertaking the kind of ancestral healing that we're being asked to do in this lifetime. But before we drop into the heart of this conversation, I just want to remind all those who are listening that our wild, crazy, never before done sale on intuitive plant medicine is ending this Thursday, May 29th. So this 8-week course is almost 40% off. You get hundreds of pages of PDFs, more than 16 videos, more than 50 bonus classes. And you also get access to this life-changing experience of knowing how to work with the plants on all these multidimensional levels to become a plant healer. No matter who you are in your life or what you're doing, this course will meet you there and help to support you, which is exactly what it did for one of our students named Lori, who wrote, "I'm 60 and have no formal background in herbal medicine, acupuncture, etc., and no plans to pursue anything remotely related to those fields. Yet when I got this in my email, despite real financial concerns, I instantly knew I had to take it. That instinct has proven to be so perfect. I've taken countless courses throughout my life, and this is undoubtedly one of the best. The density of content, the wonderful attention to detail, it all adds up to a masterpiece. It is utterly an essential balm for the spirit in these challenging times." So I think that says it all. But really, I've seen incredible transformation happen for people in this course, and the program is only $299, which is wild. I kind of can't believe I'm doing this, but just until Thursday. So if you're interested, then go on and check that out. Okay, so now that I've let you know about that, let's hop back into the episode for today. So I have seen the rise of both of these disciplines immensely over the last 15 years. Plant medicine and ancestral healing have both really raised to the forefront of our cultural awareness. And this is for good reason. Not only because both are so deeply needed and both are so deeply a part of our human history, our evolution, like our literal matrix as human beings, but also because the two work really well and really powerfully together. I have absolutely seen these two disciplines weave and work together essentially in my own life, each one supporting the other, each one helping the other to flourish, to open, to reach greater heights of potential. And I also see that there is such a potential right now in the world for these two forms of healing to be more intertwined, because at the end of the day, I really think plant healing is ancestral healing. And in this podcast, we're going to talk about why. So first, let's talk a little bit about what plant healing actually is. Like, what do I mean when I say plant healing? So of course, there's physical healing on a physical level with plants. So working with tinctures, teas, salves, eating plants. That is one layer of plant healing. But then there's also plant healing that is emotional and spiritual. So this more energetic plant healing also can really help us step deeper into the kinds of ancestral healing we're being called to in this lifetime. Plants are multidimensional beings, and they work with us on all these different levels. So we could be, for example, burning a plant and we can have that smoke around us, and that can be having a physical effect on our body. Like it can be helping to lower cortisol in our body, helping us to come into a parasympathetic state of being. But then there's also things happening on a spiritual level as we're burning that plant. We are clearing our auric field. We are opening our energy up. We are asking for benevolent energies to come in and support us. So plants will work on all these different levels when you work with them, period. They are always helping us to work not only on the physical level, but on the spiritual and emotional level as well. So when I say plant healing, this is what I'm talking about. I'm talking about working with plants, whether physically or non-physically, but working with plants to promote all of these different multidimensional layers of healing, which happens naturally when you just start working with the plants. So now let's talk about ancestral healing. What is ancestral healing? So we are at a time in our world right now where we are dealing with an incredible backlog of intergenerational trauma. All you have to do is look around and you will see that this is true. And what happens is that trauma will be carried on in a family, be passed down through a family until it reaches someone who is here to release it. It's almost like carrying down a very heavy backpack, and then you find someone who has the ability to unpack the backpack so that it's not so heavy as you continue to pass it down. And what I'm seeing right now in the world is that there are many, many, many of us who are coming in to do this clearing work for our families. We are at a turning point on this planet. And in order for humans to be able to align themselves with this turning point, to be a part of the great healing, we have to undertake this work of releasing this intergenerational heaviness, this intergenerational charge that we are carrying. And this doesn't mean that it's all up to you to release every single aspect of heaviness in your lineage. But likely, if you're listening to this, you have been tasked with releasing some of this from your lineage and some of your family line. And so when we talk about ancestral healing, we can talk about, very literally healing the patterns that we have been handed. We can also talk about just healing in general in our lives, showing up in a present way in our lives. And that itself just naturally starting to ripple out healing along our lineage. All of us have ancestors who are really healthy, radiant spiritual beings who are helping to support us in our life. Some of us might have to go kind of far back to connect with those ancestors, especially if we're wanting to connect with ancestors who had a really harmonious relationship with the living world, who were in connection with the animacy of this world, who saw, understood, and respected the soul of this world. You might have to go back hundreds, if not thousands of years, depending on where you come from in the world. But know that that is just a drop of time if you look at the full span of humanity. So no matter who you are or how much heaviness you feel you have in your lineage, you absolutely have super radiant, healthy, profoundly wise, guiding ancestral spirits who are here to help support you as you heal the stuff that comes in between. And what I've often found is that you don't even need to directly address the stuff that has happened in between or directly address the people in your lineage who went through really, really hard stuff and perhaps passed on or made that transition still having a lot of unresolved stuff. You don't necessarily have to go right there. You go to this place of self-healing and this place of calling on your wise and benevolent guides to support you. And ancestral healing also takes place on all these different levels, right? Like it's a physical experience, but it also is emotional and spiritual. And what I have found is that plants really can help us connect into these vibrant ancestors, these ancestors who know what it was like to be in a harmonious, loving relationship with the living world, who understood the deeper themes of existence, who understood their roles as humans on this planet, who were connected to all that is. And why are plants so good at this? Because plants are our ancestors. Plants are the beings that made our ancestors' lives possible. All of our ancestors were in deep relationship with plants. If they weren't, they would not be here. You would not be here. And so all of our ancestors looked to the plants as their ancestors, as their guides, their mentors, their elders. And so in this way, plants are our ancestors. They support us. They help us in our becoming and our healing. So when we work with plants, it's one way to work with ancestral healing and work with it in a way where we naturally are bringing in so much light, so much support, and so much potential. Plants are literally light catchers. This is what they do, right? Like that is what the function of chlorophyll is. These plants are sun catchers. They capture the light and they turn that into energy and life. And so when we work with plants, especially if we have this framework of plants as gateways into ancestral healing, we literally bring light into that process, and the plants as our ancestors will help us. One of the easiest ways to start working with plants as a form of ancestral healing is to work with plants as food. And I guarantee you, you already have family recipes, stories, ways in which food already connects you into your ancestry, already connects you into your lineage and your history. And so, working with plants in this specific way of calling in healing for your lineage, calling in healing for your ancestors can be super powerful. So, this could be as simple as researching and making an ancestral dish, something that will connect you to your ancestors, to the topographies that they moved through, the lands in which they lived. A lot of us in this world are transplants. We are not living in the lands in which our people were originally from. And so, working with food can really help us literally kind of put our body back into those places, to put our body back into relationship with those plants. If you think about it, your ancestors might have lived in a single place for 20, 30, 40,000 years in relationship with the plants that grow in that place. And so these plants very literally built the bodies of your ancestors. They built their DNA. They informed their evolution. So doing this research to find out, what plants would my ancestors have been eating? What kind of dishes were they eating? And trying that in a way where you sit down, you have a meal, you might even decide to have a ancestral meal, sometimes called a dumb supper, where you eat around a table and you leave a space clear specifically for the ancestors, and you put a plate in front of that space and you feed them. And at the end of the meal, you take that food and you put it outside as an offering for the earth. The next layer I want to talk about here is working with plants specifically for your own healing, because you are the ancestors. You carry their lineage inside of your blood, inside of your DNA. And so just by focusing on your own healing, you are doing ancestor work. Like this is really at the heart in a lot of ways of ancestor work, is being able to be present with the patterns inside of ourselves and being willing to meet them and do the work that's necessary in order to heal them. And so, often, whether we know it or not, the patterns that we're carrying inside of our body are ancestral. So they are passed down through our lineage. And this could be something that you see as a genetic marker in your body, but it could also be something that is turned on or activated by having grown up in the family system you grew up in, by being exposed to what you were exposed to earlier on in your life. And certainly when we look at things like diseases, addiction, mental health, these are all things that are deeply, deeply ancestral. And so all of us are working with ancestral patterns all the time. Like it's kind of the goal in some ways of being embodied. It's like the gift we're giving to humanity and to this planet of like, yes, I'll agree to come be in a body and I will do this work of getting present with myself and my patterns and the things I want to heal, because that in of itself will heal my lineage in all directions. In my client practice, I would often help people orient to something as an ancestral pattern. And one of the key indicators that something is probably an ancestral pattern is if it's hard to get rid of. Like if someone's like, yeah, you just take this thing and then it goes away, and you take the thing and it like doesn't go away, and you're like, what's going on there? You're probably working with something that's ancestral, at least in part. And one thing that I find is empowering in this, because sometimes it can feel like, oh, now I have to deal with this thing and it's ancestral and it's not even just mine. And how do I do that? Is knowing that it's being made manifest because you can heal it. A lot of these things, they travel in almost like a sleeper way through families, and it's not made manifest in the way it may be making itself manifest in your life right now in an unavoidable way. And it is being made manifest because you have the ability to heal it, because the ancestors are recognizing you as someone who can heal it. And so with this, what I find, especially when you've been around the block of trying to heal this thing, of working with sort of the conventional ways of, looking things up and trying to do it that way, I find that your intuition is essential here. And over the last 15 years of working with people and plants, I've seen that people's intuition with plants is often dead on, with the plants that are the right plants for them to be taking, to be working with energetically, emotionally, spiritually. Just go into a store, Pick a flower essence off the shelf that calls to you. I guarantee you that your body's wisdom will lead you to the right thing. And this is why I'm so passionate about teaching people how to interact with plants in an intuitive way, because our bodies are our spirit guides in this capacity. Like, our bodies that we came into in this lifetime, they are of the ancestors. They are an ancestor. And so our bodies and our psyches and our intuition will lead us towards the avenues of healing that are right for us. And the plants are just, they're always so excited about helping us with this. The plants are deeply invested in the evolution of our planet. They want to see this planet thrive and grow and enter her next era of becoming. And they're deeply invested in humans because we have a big impact on this planet. Currently, that impact is not so positive. But what this shows you is that we have the ability to make an incredibly positive impact. Anything that has the ability to make a very challenging or hard impact, or just big impact in whatever direction, shows you that it has the ability to make profound impacts, profound changes. So that's the same for humans. We're seeing right now, what we're seeing in the world at large is the interplay of intergenerational trauma unresolved writ large. So when we work with the plants to begin healing what we're carrying, everything changes. Our roles as humans changes. Our understanding of ourselves as humans changes. The way in which we use our incredible creative potential and energy on this planet as a species changes. And I really believe that the plants are deeply invested in this and in us for this reason. There's this level on which your life, your beautiful, precious life, is an offering. It's an offering for the evolution of this world. It's an offering for the healing of your lineage. And like, living in that place of knowing that, like, you are the sacred offering, like, you are the beautiful, precious, important, beloved piece that's being offered on behalf of the healing of the world. It can be really empowering to know you are already that. You don't need to do anything different, be anything different. You being in your healing journey, your healing experience, and calling in the guides, your vibrant ancestors, and the plants who will help you connect with them, the plants who will help you do this internal work, this presencing work, this healing work with yourself. That's actually all we need to do. That the offering is already in motion. You are already helping this world to come to a place of better healing, of resolution, of opening, of potential, just by being yourself. So how do we start working with this? Well, we've talked a little bit about this already, but the number one thing I'm going to recommend to you, especially if you're really feeling that vibrancy of working with plants as a way to just naturally have ancestral healing happen in your life, is to ask for a plant ally. Plant allies are plants that specifically want to come in and work with us on a personal level to help us heal, grow, unfold. Plant allies can work with us on emotional levels, spiritual levels. They can also work with us physically. And so I invite you to ask for a plant ally to come into your life. And one of the things I found with this is that we simply need to be consistent. So sometimes we ask once and no one shows up, or we don't feel like any plant is particularly calling to us and we let it go. But you have to keep asking. You have to keep being consistent. So have a journal where you write down this intention every day, say this intention out loud every day. And once you're getting clear on this, you're making a clear petition asking for this plant ally to come in. Then start noticing who shows up. Another thing you could do is ask your really vibrant ancestors to show you a plant ally, to help you connect with that plant ally who really is going to help you in your lineage. But once you make that petition, you are opening up then to who might show up. And sometimes I think we expect this to be very flashy, very big, very in our faces. But in the reality, it often ends up being a lot more subtle. It ends up looking a lot more like, oh, wow, I'm really fascinated by that plant, or I heard someone talking about this plant and I just can't stop thinking about it. Or you go to a plant nursery and there's just a flower that you're like, who are you? Tell me more. So again, this is following your natural inclination, what you're leaning towards, your body's wisdom, your intuition, and knowing that you can't get it wrong. You cannot get it wrong. if you lean into whoever's showing up for you, whatever plant is showing up for you, there will be healing there. There will be messages. There will be potential. So asking for the plant ally to come, watching them come in, seeing who arrives, and then spending time with this ally. And this is so much of what we do in intuitive plant medicine. Literally, the whole journey begins with you making direct contact with the plant ally who wants to work with you now, and then continuing to work with them over 8 weeks of all these different gateways of perception and connection. And I've seen incredible healings happen for people with just having this framework of working with an ally and having these gateways of being able to start hearing their messages and receiving their healing. But you can start to do this for yourself today. When your plant ally comes in, do some research, find out who they are. Where did they come from? Where are they native to? Where do they like to grow? A lot of times, where they grow, how they grow, what they look like is all profound information for us. And this is a whole philosophy called doctrine of signatures, which is that we can look at a plant and its growth habitat, its natural formation, and that in of itself is a beautiful metaphor and information for us about its medicinal use, the kind of medicine it carries, and in this capacity, the kind of medicine it's bringing to you and your ancestral system. So really put on your poet's cap and look at the plant in this way, be with the plant, research about the plant in this way, and notice what stands out to you, what threads are standing out to you, because they will stand out. They'll almost like ping off of your attention, and write those things down. Like write down what is standing out to you about this plant, and you'll start to see these threads come in of understanding the themes that are arriving for you in your ancestral healing, in the healing work that you're undertaking in your body, in your lifetime, and on behalf of your lineage. Plants in the living world often speak through metaphor, through these storied images. And so the more we can align our consciousness with that perspective, the more and more information and perspectives we will receive. And then, of course, find out if your plant ally can be worked with in a physical capacity. Can you make an infusion, a tea? Can you eat the plant? Can you dry and burn this plant as a kind of sacred smoke? All of these are ways in which our ancestors worked with plants. And all of these are ways in which our ancestors worked with plants to connect with their ancestors. Ancestor work is not new in this world. It is one of the oldest practices of human healing and integration that exists on this planet. All of our ancestors worked with their ancestors, had a relationship with those that came before them. And plants were often a direct way that they could make that connection. So when you work with plants, not only are you connecting into your vibrant ancestors, your ancestors who are plant healers, but you are connecting directly back into this whole beautiful, profound lineage of plant workers, of plant healers who worked with plants to connect all the way back to the beginning of your lineage and to the beginning of time. Your relationship with plants will evolve over time, like all relationships do. You will receive new understandings of that plant, you will receive new healings, and it's really through learning how to listen to our own selves and our own intuition that we can follow that thread. And this is like the most beautiful aspect to me of plant healing and ancestral healing, that often we think there needs to be so much efforting when really it's just about that next right step. It's just about following that thread and letting it take you. And when you can learn how to trust that and follow that, everything unfolds from there. The next step that you need, the next thing that you need, the next avenue, the next vista. And it's all about trusting that part of you, your inner knowing, that aspect of you that is saying, this is the right step. So if you're listening to this and you're saying, yes, this is the right next step for me, I am ready to work with plants in this kind of deep way, to work with plants for physical, emotional, spiritual healing, ancestral healing, then I would love to see you in intuitive plant medicine. We have had people from all across the spectrum join us in this course in the last 9 years, people who are incredibly accomplished herbalists and healers, and people who are in completely other fields or who are just starting out. We've had everything from acupuncturists to accountants in the course. And I have seen over and over again that working with the plants in this capacity is not just for those of us who consider ourselves to be herbalists. It's for all of us. It's for all of us because all of us have this deep ancestral connection with the plants. All of us are here to be part of the healing in this world and on this planet. I really loved what one of our students, Jolene, said about the course. It just really touched me. Jolene wrote, "I've been an herbalist for over a decade. I'm a highly sensitive, and this is the best class I've ever done. It will literally change your life. Even if you're not an herbalist or an intuitive naturally, you should absolutely take this course. This course has meant so much to me and has grounded me, comforted me, and encouraged me in such a huge way. I don't have words. Seriously, best decision I've made this year was to sign up for this." So this course is all about helping you connect to your intuition, your specific flavor and brand of intuition, which is unique to you, entirely unique to you. You'll explore that, and then you'll open to this primary relationship with the plants through working with the plant ally who really wants to come in through you right now. And from there, we're going to explore so many channels of how to work with the plants: plant channeling, plant dream work, flower essences, on the body treatments. We have a whole section about ancestral plant healing. We go into earth acupuncture. We work with plants and stones. So there's so much to work with in this course over the 8 weeks that we will be together in the program. And once you sign up for it, you have access to it forever. So if you're interested in that, this sale is ending on Thursday. So definitely check it out before then. And just know that I'm sending you so many blessings for your work in this life. It's huge. What you are doing is huge, whether or not you realize it. You are already doing this powerful healing work of healing your lineage and of helping to heal the earth by saying yes to whatever is naturally coming up for you in your life. And that's the thing I think we all need to remember, right? Is we don't need to go out to seek these things that need to be tended or these avenues of healing. They will come to us. What you need comes to you, and what needs to be done is already arising in your life. You already know it. You already see it. You're already working with it in your life. And I just want to take a moment to acknowledge you in that, to thank you for that, because it's incredibly profound and it is making a huge difference in this world, whether or not you see it. It is immense. This is what needs to happen in our world in order for healing to take place. And the role that you are here to fulfill in that is incredibly important. So wherever you are in the world, whatever season you are in, as you step deeper into this time of connecting with the plants and connecting with the living world, may you receive the support that you need to keep going, to remember that healing is possible, to remember that there are so many possibilities for your life. And as you work with these mentors, these teachers, these guides in the living world, in the green world, may they help you remember the most important thing of all: why you are here.